everybody, Rachel McLove here from Empire Tax Professionals. So really quick, just wants to share, what do we do and how do we help business owners? So we help business owners with virtual accounting services, virtual CFO services, where we help businesses on a consistent basis with monthly bookkeeping, payroll services, sales tax services in multiple states, filing the corporate returns at the end of the year, filing their individual returns at the end of the year, and then also helping them with estimated tax payments, notices in between, any questions, or if they have any specific, or if they need guidance on anything. We help our business owners every single day on a month-to-month basis with everything that they need. Technically, we're like their accounting department, so they know they don't need an accounting department in office. We recently had a client who had two bookkeepers in office, and they literally just quit out of nowhere. They quit, so the client does not know where they left off, what they did, what were they up to. And a business owner has so much liability when you have accounting in office. And a lot of the coaches say that. You don't want to have an accounting department in your office because, again, mistakes can happen. The business owners does not even know what to review. You don't know if your QuickBooks is accurate. You don't know if your QuickBooks is being reconciled. And if you're getting the profit and loss reports on a monthly basis, you don't know exactly if the numbers are accurate. This specific client, it was a marketing agency, and their reports and the accounts were not reconciled. So everything was wrong. Estimated tax payments were never prepared or never paid for. Their returns were not filed for 2017, 18, and now we're helping them with 19. So you don't want to rely on one, or on you don't want to rely on somebody in office because they could walk out and you don't know what they did. You want to hire a company to do it all for you so they could see, because a corporation is always responsible, right? You answer, they're more like solid. We're not going to walk out from, we're not going to just walk out. We have more responsibility. We have legalities. You paid a company. They're trying to reach out to those two employees and they're not responding. It's just so bad because now they're having anxiety. They don't know their numbers. Their estimated tax payments are behind. They're not making any estimated tax payments. And so you never want to be in that situation ever. So I always recommend is always hiring an accounting department. Whether you hire us or somebody else, it doesn't really matter. But from my perspective, we're the only ones that I believe, because we know our competition very well, that offers what we offer, where we have an entire package specifically for business owners, small business owners, where the price is perfect. I think the price is just right, and we're offering everything for them. So again, what we do is the monthly bookkeeping services, where you get bookkeeping reports on a consistent monthly basis. You review your profit and loss reports, and then when we look at the profit and loss reports, we have a conversation with you where we say, hey, Mike, or hey, John, whatever the name is, we say, you made $10,000 net this month. How much taxes do you need to be paying for your quarterly payments? And then we make the quarterly payments, on your behalf. We file the returns at the end of the year. We do everything that needs to be done in the accounting cycle and make sure that you're always compliant. Make sure that you as a business owner, you know the exact numbers on a month-to-month basis, and you know how much money you're paying yourself, and you know exactly before the year ends what you need to do to reduce your taxes as a business owner. So there are a lot of companies out there that they hire bookkeepers. They hire bookkeepers, online bookkeepers that just do the bookkeeping, where they just do the robotic job, right? Then they have a payroll company that they, just literally processes payroll, and that's it. There's no advice. They don't tell you how much, payroll you need to pay, what you need to do. They don't really give you any advice on how much payroll you should be paying yourself, or what your estimated tax payments should be, or how much would they be, or how much would they be, or what dates do you need to make the payments. They don't give you any of that advice. They don't tell you what you need to do what you need to do before the year ends so you could save money on your taxes. they don't tell you exactly what needs to be done. So the business owner is so confused and overwhelmed because they're speaking to many different departments and they're overwhelmed. I hired a marketing agency this year, and it was honestly the best decision that I've ever made. They work with, they focus on content creation. They do Google research. They do Facebook ads. They do so many things, and they are responsible for the entire marketing department. Versus I used to speak to the content department. I used to speak to Google ads and then Facebook ads. And I was just so overwhelmed speaking to individual people and getting the results. My CMO, the chief marketing officer, she knows the exact result that I want. So she gets the numbers from all the other departments, and she's able to help me get the result that I'm looking for. And that's what I recommend when you hire an accountant. You don't want to hire a bookkeeper that just does the robotic job and does data entry. And a lot of them, they just call themselves bookkeepers, where they don't exactly know how to reconcile in QuickBooks. They don't know what they need to do or what expenses are deductible, what specific things they need to do to reduce their liability. Bookkeepers mainly focus on adding income and expenses most of the time. Accountants focus on preparing their returns. Virtual CFO or virtual accounting services, what they focus on the entire picture. They look at the bookkeeping, they look at the payroll, they look at the entire tax liability to see what we could do to reduce your liability. They look at sales tax and say, hey, you have nexus in these 3 states. Let's register you with these 3 states. These are your tax obligations in these 3 states. A bookkeeper will never be able to tell you that. An accountant, a local accountant, won't know the nexus rules out of state. And a payroll person won't know what is a reasonable compensation according to the IRS. They won't know, because they all they do is really process payroll. That's all they do. You say, hey, my payroll should be $50,000 a year. Online companies would say, sure, that's how much I need to pay. They'll process your payroll, and they'll tell you how much taxes you need to pay, and they'll file your returns for you. But there is no guidance. They don't tell you how much to pay. You tell them what you need, what you want to pay yourself, which is a problem. You want your accountant to let you know, how much you should be paying yourself, because it's based on what your income and expenses are. It's based on how much money are you generating. You don't want to just come up with those numbers off the top of your head. You need to come up with a reasonable compensation. And, there's another client recently that was a single member LLC, and they hired an online a payroll company to process payroll. I don't know if you know this, guys, as business owners, you're not going to be on payroll when you're a single member LLC. That is illegal. Okay, you're not allowed to pay yourself when you're a single member LLC, which is another reason why you would want to hire a CFO service, because we look at the entity, we look at the bookkeeping, we look at your estimated tax payments, we look at how much money you should be paying yourself. We look at the entire picture. We don't look at one thing at a time. And I've seen a lot of clients overpay in taxes. I've seen a lot of clients get thousands of dollars of penalties because everything is mixed. I've seen companies get audited because they don't have a virtual CFO service. Because I actually had a contractor recently around the area. He came in and he said, hey, I'm getting audited. And I said, what happened? He said, I got his bookkeeper did the books, the accountant prepared the return, and he got an IDR, which is an information document request, and the IRS is asking for specific documentation from his, on his return. The accountant said, I don't know what's on. She knows what's on the return, but the bookkeeper is the one that reconciled the books, and she deducted some expenses that were not legally allowed. So there's a mix, there's a miscommunication, because there's 2 people. One person is doing the books. She's assuming that the accountant is reviewing the numbers, and they're not. And she prepared the return. The client ended up owing, anywhere between like $10,000 to $16,000. Now, that may not be a lot for you, but what if the IRS went back 3 years? What would happen if the IRS went back to 3 years and the numbers were a lot higher? I've seen situations like this where clients owed $26,000, and actually there's another client that's being audited right now because I think he did his own bookkeeping himself, and you can't do the bookkeeping yourself, especially if you don't understand the tax law. If you don't know the tax law, then you don't know what you can deduct. And there's specific rules for home office. There are specific rules for car expenses. There's specific rules for specific expenses like meals and entertainment. Meals, there's specific rules for office meals and outside meals. There's specific rules. And if your bookkeeper doesn't understand the tax law, then how can you do the bookkeeping? It's not really bookkeeping, it's data entry services. And that's not what you want to pay for. You don't want to pay $1,000 or whatever it is for data entry services. But when we do your bookkeeping, we look at every single expense and do everything we can to legally deduct as an expense. Okay, everything we can to legally deduct each expense possible. We see cash withdrawals. We say, hey, Mike, hey, whoever, we see a cash withdrawal for $400. What is this expense for? Oh, I hired a moving company. Okay, can you show us receipts? Can you give us, some documentation? Then we deduct it as an expense. But I've seen bookkeepers classify cash withdrawals as personal. And they don't even, some of them, and I'm telling you, I know it as a fact because I've seen it. Some of them don't even ask the client, hey, what is this cash? Or what is this check form made out to $5,000? Or what is ClickFunnels? What is, you went to Orlando at an event, or you went to Nashville, Tennessee at an event. They assume that it's personal, but I know a lot of entrepreneurs, we travel so much and we want to deduct them as an expense. But a lot of the bookkeepers don't know that these are business expenses, so they deduct it as personal. Okay, so I highly recommend for every single company to really hire a virtual accounting specialist or a CFO who can look at the entire picture so they could understand. So one person can give you strategic guidance and let you know exactly what you need to do as far as bookkeeping, making sure your numbers. So people think bookkeeping is data entry. Again, it's not. Bookkeeping, making sure that you're deducting every single expense legally possible. I had a client who recently did his bookkeeping and he deducted like his car, he deducted equipment. You need to understand that those need to be depreciated according to the life cycle of the asset. You can't just deduct it. So his net was different than, if we reconcile his books, his net would have been a lot lower than our net because we're just depreciating the expense. And again, if his net, let's say, was 10,000 and our net was 50,000, then he would be upset because we're not deducting the entire thing. You can't deduct the entire thing. So again, when we're doing your bookkeeping, we literally, every single expense is being classified according to the proper classifications, according to the IRS code. When we do your payroll, we look at your bookkeeping and we say, hey, Mike, Mr. Dentist, or, Mr. Marketing Agency, you made $1 million this year based on your experience, based on the skills that you have, based on the knowledge that you have. You need to be paying yourself $50,000 or $75,000. The salary depends on your experience, the hours that you're working, how much money you're making. Because remember, I have so many stories, it's crazy. I had a client recently who overpaid himself by $50,000. He paid himself $100,000. And he was supposed to pay himself $50,000. He was a small company, or even $45,000 the first year. But, he overpaid himself because, again, he called a payroll company and said, hey, I need to be on payroll. He probably saw, one of somebody's lives, or he heard it somewhere on the IRS website that it needed to be on payroll. So he said, okay, I could pay myself $100,000 a year. And there you go. Now he's paying on the entire net. So on the payroll. So why would you do that? Why would you take ownership and just come up with a number without really discussing it with a CFO or with somebody that has a high level strategy? Again, I don't just process payroll. I don't just do the bookkeeping. I don't just file corporate returns. You could find people that do, a $5 job and enter numbers. Like, that's not what we do. And I want to make sure that clients understand that is not what we do. We're all about strategy and helping our clients reduce the risks of audit. And at the same time, we help our clients reduce their tax liability legally by giving you specific strategies that a lot of accountants, especially in my community and the online community don't know what they are because they're not certified tax coaches. They're not tax specialists, okay? So you go to a tax accountant, they prepare your return, you give them a profit and loss report, they enter the numbers, they say, okay, you owe $10,000, you owe $20,000. They don't give you any ideas or advice on what you could do to reduce your liability. That is a tax preparer. A tax planner has a meeting with you and they say, hey, you're the wrong entity, or you're overpaying yourself by $50,000, or did you know that you have sales tax nexus in multiple states? You need to start registering in other states because now you have nexus. Some of them don't think out of the box and give you these specific suggestions so you could be compliant and reduce your taxes legally. So that's why you want to hire a virtual accounting services. So when we do the bookkeeping for you, you understand that we are deducting every single expense legally possible, and we're not just doing the data entry. When we're looking at payroll and we're thinking about payroll, we're looking at your income and expenses. We're giving you a specific suggestion on how much your payroll should be so you can have a reasonable compensation and be compliant according to the IRS. When we're looking at your sales tax, we do a whole sales tax consultation and let you know, okay, where do you have Nexus? Do you have an Amazon store? Do you have a Shopify store? Let's look at the entire picture and strategize. Do you have more than $100,000 worth of sales in one specific state? Are you a drop shipper? Are you FBA? Are you FBM? Are you an Amazon seller? Do you sell on eBay? We ask you specific questions to help you make sure that you're legally compliant, because a lot of Amazon sellers have been getting fines from different states, specifically California, Massachusetts, and other states because they have not been compliant with sales tax. And so we don't just do the job and then say have a good day. We look at the entire strategy. Another thing we look at is estimated tax payments. So when we do your monthly bookkeeping, we look at your net and we double check to see, hey, your net is 30,000, your net is 40,000, your net is 10,000. We give you a call and we say, you need to make estimated tax payments, and this is how much your estimated tax payments are. Would you like us to make a payment on your behalf? You either question us and you say, I don't understand. I don't know, why do I pay this much, or why do I owe this much? We show you the P&L, you understand it. We make the payment once you approve. So again, a lot of accountants out there, they don't calculate your estimated tax payments based on the actual numbers of the year. They take the easy way out. They look at last year's numbers and they say, okay, your tax liability was $10,000 for the entire year last year. Let's just pay $2,500 a quarter and you should be fine for the year, because that's the safe harbor rule. You don't want that. You want to make sure that you're paying estimated tax payments based on the actual number, actual net amount for 2020. So you don't overpay and you're not underpaying. I've seen this consistently with clients, especially in the online space. And a lot of accountants are very lazy to do the bookkeeping on a monthly basis or even on a quarterly basis and give advice and calculate specifically how much the estimated tax should be based on the exact quarter. So it's pretty hard, but we do it anyway. So for example, January, February, March, those 3 months, the books must be reconciled before you make the payment for the first quarter, which is April 15th. April, May, you need to reconcile those two statements, the end of May, so you can make your estimated tax payments by June 15th. June, July, August, and it's different. It's different dates. June, July, August. We have to wait until the statement, the beginning of September, and then we need to reconcile everything and then make the payment by September 15th. Same thing, September, October, November, December, and then now the fourth quarter is due January 15th. So it's really crucial to make these estimated tax payments on time, and not only on time, but accurately based on the actual books of 2020 and not the shortcut of last year. So then at the end of the year, you're going to either overpay, and who wants a huge refund from the IRS? You could have invested that money into marketing. You could have invested that money into, whatever, any accounting services, so you could reduce your liability. Giving money to the IRS, especially more money to them, gives you absolutely no ROI. It makes no sense. You want to make sure that you're paying them what you need to be paying them, not more and not less. Because then if you owe more than $1,000 at the end of the year, then you're not compliant and you're going to get an estimated tax penalty. So virtual CFO services, again, we are the entire accounting department for the business owner, and we literally take care of everything. Now, a lot of people are just shocked. Again, so we do bookkeeping, payroll, sales tax in detail, not just file sales tax, giving you a consultation about Nexus, filing those payroll returns, filing those sales tax returns, filing the corporate returns at the end of the year. And a lot of people are shocked about a lot of people are just shocked about we prepare the corporate returns at the end of the year. And a lot of people are surprised about the individual returns that we prepare that at the end of the year as well. So you don't need to look for another accountant at the end of the year. You never need to look for a bookkeeper. You don't need to look for a payroll service provider. You don't need to look for a tax planner, because we do it all for you. There's a lot of information online that are incorrect, and I feel like it's just there to give you information so you can move on. But like with the estimated tax payments, that's incorrect. There's just a lot of wrong information, and you want to make sure that you're getting it from people that are licensed, experienced, and people that have a team to back up everything, to help you. So I'm the CEO of my company. I'm the owner of my company. I could be doing a live and I could have a ton of Facebook messages. I could have a ton of emails, and I have specific people that are assigned to Facebook messages, to emails. I have a huge team that can help, with all the influx of leads that we're getting, and make sure that the service delivery is consistent every single month, which is why this is so important, because we don't have any contracts, we don't have any cancellation fees, we have no setup fees, and we don't have any cancellation fees, like no cancellation fees, no contracts, nothing. It's really month to month, and we want to make sure that our clients are 100% happy. So businesses who we've helped are Amazon sellers, marketing agencies, medical practices, real estate agents and brokers, coaches, course creators, service businesses, consultants, and we helped a lot of businesses that sell a lot of products. How long does onboarding take? So it really depends on when you give us all the logins, right? As soon as we give you a quote, because every single client has a customized quote. We don't want to give you a flat rate without looking at anything, and then you just say, when we're going to be doing the work, we just raise your fee. We don't want that. We make sure that every single client has a specific rate. You're okay with the fee, then we move forward. Now, we have a kickoff call with the client, and then you need to give us all the login information. As soon as you give us the login information, it could be as early as a week. It could be as late as 3 weeks, because it depends. Sometimes clients need cleanup work. Sometimes we need to, cleanup work means a client came to us with like books from a prior bookkeeper, and a lot of accounts were not reconciled. So we need to go ahead and clean that up. And that could be 2 weeks, that could be 3 weeks, depending on how many transactions there are in the bank statements. Or there could be catch up. Let's say you came to us and there are no books at all for 2019. So now it may take us a few weeks for us to reconcile the entire year, and it could be 2 to 3 weeks. We normally give a specific time frame for each client, because it really depends. If you have nothing that needs to be done for the prior year and you're just jumping in for January 2020, we need your logins for everything: your accounts, your credit card accounts, your bank accounts, all of your bank accounts, all of your credit card accounts, your PayPal, your Stripe. If you're an Amazon seller, we would need some logins for that as well. And then it would be about a week or two till you get assigned to your specific accountant, who will do everything for you. So you don't need to speak to multiple people. We have onboarding, and then you have one accountant that handles all of your bookkeeping, your payroll, your sales tax questions, and your sales tax processing, your corporate return, your individual return. That one accountant normally has about 30 to 40 clients, and they are the only ones that are handling, that handle everything for you. So they don't have any other work that they're doing. It's just they're really responsible to handle, like I said, everything for you from A to Z. And then if there's anything specific that you're looking for, such as you want to purchase a home, or you want to buy a building, or you want to know if it makes sense for you to rent or lease your car, etc., anything like that, then we have you schedule a call with one of our top accountants, senior accountants, and then obviously that's included in the fee. And if you need an accounting letter or any specific letter, we do that for you as well. but I wanted to make sure to let everybody know that I am always available. So if you need something from me specifically, message me and I will respond to you as soon as possible, because this is my business and I 100% care. There are times that I will respond at 10 p.m. There are times that I'll respond at 2 a.m. because it's my business and I don't have 9 to 5 hours. Like, I don't care about that. We do everything we can to help our clients. And like I said, accountants work 55 hours a week during tax season to make sure that we respond to clients on time. And I appreciate all of you watching. Thank you so much. Bye.